attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, whenever we last left off, Izuku Carter, him and his mother, they were going to go on a mission. After Midoriya's 9th birthday party, he got a lot of gifts from a lot of different people, seeing some of his old friend from their former training days, and finding out that he is technically the most dangerous kid in the room. Along with that, he learned a bit more about his marker. Now, we do have today, roughly around a year later. Midoriya is walking through the streets, pretending to be a, bit of a beggar. While the earpiece is in his ear, he does have a dirty jacket on. And he is somewhat mumbling to his mother that this stupid little getup will not work. Well, it's going to have to. Remember, the target wanted this man, murdered like this, in daylight, broad daylight. Yeah, but still. This is a bit too much, isn't it? Well, yes, but just remember, once you pass by this crowd of people and get through them, you should have an available shot. Once you do, take it. After that, just simply slip the pistol back into the jacket. Then, whenever you do that and the man falls, I can fire my own shots. Not only will we be able to double tap the man, but it will show that anyone can take a shot at him, and he can still die. Multiple people are going after him. Remember, they wanted this man to be a message. Plus, he is also very dangerous. Yeah, but what did this guy do anyways? Well, from the mission dossier, the man, he's apparently part of a little bit of a scheme. He's somewhat imported his own little, what is it the right word to say? Drugs into the local area. And not only have they been hurting a lot of people here, but they've sort of been giving the crime family in this area a bad name. Everyone thinks that they are involved with them. That is why they hired us to kill these men. But yeah, we're just only taking down this guy though. Why? Well, technically he is one of their leaders. He's the right-hand man. He makes sure things are moving. And if he is killed, then the war will be sparked. Once that happens, we can go in behind them undetected, destroy their supplies, and them here. Apparently, if we cripple their supply lines here, their home country and/or, family might go down. From what I know, they are basically the only ones keeping that place afloat. So we sink them here, then you take down the entire ship. Correct. Alright, fine. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does pull the gun out of his sleeve. And get ready. With the silencer on, he's just walking. And he is angling the gun a certain way while he does move his sleeve. As soon as he does see an available shot, he pulls the trigger. As soon as the gun fires, the man is quickly shot center mass. the shot bolting through his left bicep and directly into his lung. As soon as the man goes falling backwards out of his chair, this is whenever a very loud gunshot rings out. And as the bullet whisks through the air, it directly impacts the man in the eye, before his head and his body gets sent toppling backwards. Now, everyone begins to scatter. The men are looking for the shooter, and they are quite surprised. They only heard one shot ring out, but there are two holes in the body. This being where they do actually say to fan out, and look for anyone suspicious. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, dressed as the little orphan boy, he just puts the gun back into the sleeve and begins to run off. As he does inform his mother that he did what he did. Now, where are we meeting back up? As she is running across the rooftop and leaping over a ledge, says that they are going to be trying to meet up as she smashes into the side of the building and is able to actually climb up, saying that they are going to be meeting up at this address, roughly around 2 blocks away in a parking garage. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, as he's walking down an alleyway, he does actually begin to pull off the hoodie and simply just throw it away in the trash, tucking the gun directly into his front pocket, and thinking, with that out of the way, they should be able to get away now. So let's see. Mom did say that she was taking me somewhere after this. I just wonder what it's gonna be. Hey kid. Midoriya turning around and seeing a man. You wouldn't happen to see anything strange come by here, would you? What? No. No, why do you ask? Well, that's odd. The man looking around. There's no one else in the alleyway. Say, do you know what's going on? No, not really. I sort of just came in here to hide. Oh, really? Then tell me, kid. Exactly what are you hiding from? Nothing. There's someone shooting out there, isn't there? I heard multiple shots, right? Well, kid, you are right. But you're not. You see, we only found one shot. Saying that there are multiple means that you know another one was fired. Hey, I don't know anything, mister. Yeah, kid, cut the crap. You're one of them continental guys, aren't you? Well, I guess I am. And exactly what would you do about it? Midoriya says, putting his hands directly at his sides. The man simply just telling him that he has some nerve, as he goes to put his finger on the trigger, saying that the young kid is reckless, stupid, and just made the biggest mistake of his life. Now, Midoriya just tells him that he doesn't understand exactly what's going on. What are you talking about? Do you know exactly what your boss is doing to the people here? To the infrastructure of this place? To the families of this area? You're starting to annoy me with your fancy language. Figures you'd be an imbecile. Anyways, listen to me. Midoriya says, moving his hands onto his front pockets, as he actually does go to bend down to sit down. As he does sit down, he moves his hips upwards in front of him to actually pull his legs closer to his body. As he does actually move his hands upwards He tucks the gun downwards and it does slide into his wristband. Now, as soon as it slid into, well, his long sleeved shirt, he did actually just begin to curl up his body, curling it into a ball, telling the man that is he really unaware? You're stalling me, aren't you, kid? Anyways, where's the other target? The other shooter? Oh, Midoriya says, looking over the man's shoulder, saying, she's right there. The man's spinning around away from Midoriya and going to aim the gun upwards, not seeing anyone. As soon as the man turns back around, Midoriya is standing there with a gun, firing 2 shots. Both shots hitting the man in the hands. The bullets went directly through the man's right hand and hit the gun. The second shot, however, went directly through the man's finger, through the wood stalk, and into the man's rib. And the man does actually go falling backwards. Midoriya walking forwards, telling the man that, you really did make this a bit too difficult. Where did you? Who do you think fired the second shot? Diggered. Who are you? I'm Izuku Carter. Midoriya watching as the guy's face lights up with horror as he pulls the trigger, and does make his way over to the parking garage. Relatively, well, with less pursuits. Now, after Midoriya does get there, he does actually get into the car. As soon as he does find his mother. And they do leave. This being where Midoriya does actually try and talk to her, and figure out what is going on. He encountered a bit of resistance whenever he was coming back here. One of those guys seemed to be a bit smarter than the other ones. He decided to check an alleyway, but that's ultimately what killed him. Now, Midoriya does want to know exactly where they're going to go, and she does go on stating that Midoriya, he is doing very well. Relatively, you've gotten your temper under control. And then there is your combat techniques. Most of them are good and, well, fairly masterful. But, did you really think that only 2 years of training would be it? What are you talking about? Well, I'm just thinking and saying. 2 years of training. You spent 2 years training back at that underground place, and then you spent 3 with me. Well, 3.5 almost. Well, I mean, it's all sort of just good, right? Technically, yeah. But even then, I believe that what we are going to currently put you through, well, it's going to be a bit more tricky. But do you think that you are up for it? Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, do I really even have a choice? Well, ultimately, no. But I can at least give you one choice. Where we are going to be heading to, you cannot know the whereabouts of. So, there's a few options. Okay, and what would those be? Well, I can give you 3. And, well, I know that you might choose option number 3. So let's start with that one. It is a, well, sleeping pill. The pill is doused with a few other things. All of them will be relatively harmless. But the effects will be that it's going to knock you out for a very long period of time. roughly, you should be unconscious for at least 16 to 20 hours. That is a lot of time. Why, yes, it is. That is why I am suggesting it first, since it might ultimately be your best bet. Option 2. Knockout gas. Not only is it somewhat of a, well, harm on your body and the proper way we're supposed to do things, but what it's going to do is knock you out. You're going to wake up with great muscle fatigue and relatively a burning sensation all throughout your skin, nostrils, and you're just not going to feel at all well. Then there's option number 1, which ironically, a lot of people still use to this day. And what would that be? Well, me and you would fight, and it basically end with me knocking your lights out. And if you wake up again, I just knock your lights out again. Oh, yeah, let's go with option number 3. Perfect. Anyways, now, you will still feel very stiff after waking up, however. Do you understand that? Okay. Midoriya, taking the pill, staying awake for roughly about 5 minutes afterwards, at least, let's say, before beginning to feel the effects. The effects begin to kick in very rapidly. Midoriya feels his hands stop responding to his movements. They entirely froze. And then Midoriya closed his eyes, before waking up somewhere else, yawning and trying to stretch, and trying to stand up, finding it to be very, very difficult. He woke up not only in a pile of other people, but people that are relatively around his age, he believes. Now, Midoriya himself begins to think, what's going on? Wait, this must be what she was talking about. So, where are we? Another training facility. Okay, that does make sense. Now, let's see. If I know my mother, then that means that... Midoriya just turning around, asking a few other people if they all know how they got there. Not really. Last thing I remember is an elevator. Yeah, I remember something like that too. I remember that too. Really? Because I remember just getting a fucking train hitting me. Are you sure it was a train? I have no idea. I feel like a bulldozer landed on my head. Probably did. Anyways, how about the rest of you? A few people actually all standing up and looking around. The area, it does seem familiar. And then there is what happens. The room is actually quickly somewhat revealed. This is where lights do turn on, and it is found that they are in somewhat of a large box. There seems to be barely any lights on the ceiling, and barely anything else in the room. There is a few things, however. There are guardrails against the wall, and what seems to be, well, nothing much else. Now, after that observation is made, they do actually see a window against the farthest wall, and a lot of them do think, exactly what is going on here? Why would there be a window? I think I can understand what's going on here. You too? Midoriya says. Yeah, I think this might be another test. Probably. Anyways, I guess we're just waiting for it to start. Probably. Either way, let's just see what happens. Now, as more and more of the people in the pile do wake up, this is whenever it is revealed what their test is. The room began to fill with water. At first, it didn't seem like much. A small little pool of water began to form at their feet, and not really a lot of people began to notice it. However, then it began to pour from the rooftops, the very top of the room, and it quickly became apparent as to what's going on. Now, by the time it was roughly about, let's say about 5 feet high, everyone was already beginning to have to tread water and try to make sure that they will all be alright. Now, with that being said, this is whenever a lot of people do actually try and think about what's going on, and somewhat panic. What do they do? What do they do? They have never been in this situation before, and it's very, very bad. They need to think of a way out of here. Now, Midoriya begins to state, what are their quirks? A lot of people begin to list off their own, and then they do get to Midoriya, asking what his is. Midoriya taking a deep breath before just going back underwater. And he does actually swim over to where that window is, looking at it, and simply just thinking. There must be a way to get through this. Let's see. I got it. Midoriya is swimming back up, and asking anyone if they can give him a hand with this. He has an idea. A few people actually drawing in deep breaths and following Midoriya. As they do swim underwater, Midoriya shows them what he's talking about. The window right here. There must be something behind here if they are hiding it. And Midoriya just quickly wraps his hand underneath the guardrail and pulls his feet directly onto the glass. And he tries cocking his hand backwards and throwing it out forwards, trying to punch away at it. Now, a few people do actually try and follow Midoriya's guide, punching at the window, and trying to simply just crack it or break it. And quickly nothing is working. They continue on with this for roughly about 5 minutes. People going up for air and switching out, trying to punch away at the window. However, eventually it becomes to the point where the trip itself is too much, and there is barely any breathing room left at the top of the window. And Midoriya, he takes in a very, very deep breath before just looking up. He was about to go underwater and try something. However, this might work. Midoriya grabbing a piece off of the ceiling and beginning to simply just pull. As soon as he just starts pulling, he is able to break off this metal piece. And he does go down there. Swimming down there, he swims probably about 20 to 30 feet down. Back to where the window is, grabbing onto the thing and just taking this metal piece. Putting it into his hand, he just begins to stab at the window. As soon as he does stab it, he actually does begin to put more cracks into it, stabbing again, again, and again. Over and over again as he's just taking a breath, trying to hold it back in. He is out of air, and his lungs are feeling like they're burning, and he just keeps chipping away at it and chipping away. Until he is at his limits. His face might as well be blue, and his eyes might as well just be bulging out of his head. And a person, they do come swimming up to Midoriya, and look at him. They themselves grabbing onto this metal piece that Midoriya is holding, and bring their foot up, and just beginning to just push against it as hard as they can. As soon as Midoriya does join her, They push on it, and the glass breaks. Them coming flooding out of the room, along with a few other people. And then, after a bit of time, it is revealed as to what just happened. As people are being treated and actually tended to, you do have Midoriya. Midoriya, he's taking in a deep breath and trying to just hold it in. Now, after a second, he actually does catch his breath properly. And then a few people do come walking in and start telling them all that that was very well done and that the teamwork could have been better. A few kids spouting off that what the fuck are they talking about? They are crazy for doing that to them. Don't you see what this is? Midoriya says, standing up on his feet. As soon as he does stand up, he does actually somewhat almost slip. As he goes on stating that this is some form of training, a way to test them. Ah, very observant, Mr. Carter. Yeah, I think I would have to agree. Then again, I think the test was a bit extreme. Well, very. However, usually, that test always ends up with one thing. A few of you would have drowned, we would hit the emergency release, and then we would resuscitate you all. What? Yes, actually. In fact, it is the very room that we do use this for. The ceiling does open up and reveal a swimming pool. That is what this place is primarily somewhat used for. Now, I believe that all of you have passed. In fact, I believe that. Let's see. You, and you. You all might be the most dangerous in this room. And I do not make that guarantee lightly. Now, one of the people that this woman pointed at was Midoriya. She pointed at him first, and then began with the other people, saying that they are all here for one simple reason. As the door opens again, and in walks each one of their mentors. Everyone shocked to see all of them, as they are all wearing a particular outfit. Now, this is whenever the woman goes on stating that these are your mentors. They have trained you and groomed you. Now, this facility, not only is it a place of learning, but it is a place of growth. Each one of you have mentors who have been here before in this very position. Not only have they been the students, but now they are in the teacher. They themselves will undergo growth. And once they do, this is one thing that will happen. They will each learn that they can do things without a hand to hold. And that even though some of you all do call each other family, that does not mean that things will not be difficult. Now, I believe all of you do know, as she points out to Isla, or Isla Carter, saying that this woman here has a particular record. And she herself is very dangerous. A few of you will be particularly happy to learn under her. Now, with that being said, each one of your mentors is given a specialized task. They each do perform adequately in one single task, and they will be teaching you, all of you, if not most of you, some of them. If any of you can perform these tasks well, or at least exceed my expectations of all of you, then you will pass. Now, I almost bit my tongue 3 times saying that, and that left me very lightheaded. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. and have an amazing night. We'll catch you guys in the next part.